Well,
And
I think one of the risks that you have to know before you get into that scenario within a relationship is that you're not going to be priority or at the
at
top of the
first,
list of priorities,
at
right?
first,
As the dynamics change and the times change, it's a possibility. It's a possibility that her kids will still be priority, but she will give you your place. So priority and place are two different things. Priority and your role are two different things,
okay.
right? It's possible that I can now say my grandkids are at the top of the list of my priority over my real kids, or my kids, right? My grandkids.
Because you give them back after you're done.
Right. But it doesn't diminish the role that my kids have in my life. I haven't kicked them down, you know. So we have to
But your
kind of
wife
define
takes
that.
priority over all of them.
Um your wife should, right? As a husband, your wife should be your priority. Um if not, then it creates an empty nesters syndrome that we can talk about that later.
Right.
And vice versa. But in the case of a blended family, what's difficult is to realize that there is competition.
Of course.
Where as a regular marriage you're coming into and you're building something from the ground, so you're building together, right? As a blended family, you've already got something established on this side, something established on this side, and you're saying, okay, how do we make it? You know, how do we make it one? How do we make it? You know, a structure, a place where okay, we figure out the priorities, and those conversations when they're not had, um, it becomes complicated when you're faced with hard questions or when you're faced with a scenario that you didn't want to face or you didn't want to live, right? So it's again, one size is doesn't fit all, and you know, these blended family issues, they vary and they're different depending on the characters, depending on the extended families and the faith, obviously.
Right. And the other thing I want to throw in there is what we do in our house. My wife and I make sure we spend time together because we realize one day it's just going to be us and we
Oh,
don't want to
absolutely.
be strangers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that
Absolutely.
happens. Like the kids move out or the kids don't move out, they all just move around and like everybody lives in the same neighborhood, the kids are always over still, and then you're never alone. And then
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great thing, but it's also it's not fair for the husband and wife because the husband and wife need to have that
Yeah.
bond because they're really the ones who are going to grow old together forever.
Yeah. Yeah. And the idea that is to grow into that dynamic,
Correct.
right?
I mean,
Not we
Lori and
can't
I have been
go in
married.
there. Yeah, we can't go in there as men. We can't go into a relationship and demand
No, 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 no.
our position. It's
Correct.
we have to grow naturally and organically into that, and
And you
it's
have
just
to
having
learn.
those.
You when you step into a blended marriage, you have to learn the dynamics because you have multiple personalities going on. And
Yes.
one of the things, be transparent. Lorianne's eldest daughter, when I first came, her and I got along great, but she was like she felt she was equal with mom, so she would try and be in charge a lot because she had been living with mom for so long without a dad, and then so then we would butt heads on things and discipline. I discipline different than she does, and so sometimes there would be headbutts. But we've been married for 14 years, and we still every day work on things together. There are times that I'm just like, I don't I don't really miss being single and living by myself, but boy howdy, there are times I really my kids live in Texas and I'll just go live in the garage. How about that? No, but I mean, because I've come to the realization now that my kids are all adults. Most of them have moved out, except for the last one who's going to get married and she'll be moving out. And then it's just going to be me and Lorianne. And if we don't know how to act as a couple and communicate, that's where I have found and heard that even people who have been married only once, they get to that point in their life and now they don't know who they're married to
That
anymore, and
that
they're done.
happens.
Well,
That
Dr.
happens.
Eddie will tell you when is the second most common marriage length for divorce, and I believe the second most is 18 years, right? Or was traditionally kind of that
Yeah,
time when,
yeah.
yeah,
Traditionally, yeah,
the
yeah,
Right,
emptiness.
because the
yeah.
So
kids are gone and now you're by yourself
I'm sure
with your.
stuff's so different now because kids live at home till they're 47, but
Exactly.
you know what I
So,
mean?
so yeah, the
Do not
kids.
say that. That's not happening in this house.
So the kids are the common thing that you have
Right.
between you two. So everything that surrounds and has to do with the kids is the glue, right? So the football games, the volleyball practices, the going to church, the Royal Rangers, whatever. So as you're doing life, what keeps you connected and what keeps you glued are the kids. And if you, shame on you if you're not taking a time out once a week, twice a week to say, hey, you know what? Screw the kids. We'll see you later. We're going to go out to dinner. We'll see you
Right.
later. We're going to go out watch a movie. We'll see you later. We're just
He
going
meant
to
to
go to
say
the
screw
beach.
each other.
Well, that too.
No. Um,
It's a little tough when
if
there's kids around. They like to walk in your room.
It's a lie.
yeah, you got to make sure you
No
deadbolt that
free
sucker.
shows.
Well, we have made
You
it
know what?
perfectly clear. You do not walk in the room unless you want to see something you weren't ready for. So,
Hey, why not? We've all seen it. Hey,
whoa, we've seen it.
Dr. Eddie, though, that's kind of it feels like that's the same dynamic as like when the matriarch in the family passes away, right? Like a local family where it's grandma's house and grandma cooks, grandma has the kids, the grandkids, even the great grandkids over, and everyone's so close. And then when she dies, it's like even if the grandpa's still alive, it's kind of like,
It's
where do we
different.
go?
It's
You know,
different.
who coordinates it? What do we do? Like the glue's gone.
Yeah, yeah, and you're absolutely right. And that happened in my life with a lady that is like my mother, right? And she has a big family. I We were raised together in a sense of we were neighbors. They were our pastors. I'm the only child. That she had three, four kids, and so we were always together. And as she got older, and we all got older, and we have our kids. Thanksgiving, Christmas, every excuse for a holiday, she would be the one to call everybody and say, "Hey, at my house," or "Hey, at my house," or "Hey, we're having dinner at my house." Hey, so she was in essence a matriarch, right? She passed away probably 4 years ago, and all that stuff is gone
Mm-hmm.
because everybody's busy doing life, and she was the initiator, right? So you're absolutely right. It's the same result
Now,
in essence.
we all grew up north. Okay, so I cannot speak for down here. But
Okay.
where I grew up, every holiday was at either your grandma's house or your mom's house, and everybody came over. And you're right. And then when grandma passed away, the aunts were still there. We still had barbecues and picnics, but just wasn't the same. And everybody
No.
started moving away.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I mean, so this past weekend, I was up in Lancaster for my mom's memorial, and we all went after the service to my sister's Airbnb, and there was probably, I don't know, 20, 25 people there. And it felt like exactly how it used to be at my mom's house. And I was just like, man, this is like Christmas at mom's house. I mean, we had pizza going on, everybody's talking, fireplace crackling. It was fantastic. It just like the memories just rushed over me like a wave. And I was like, it sucks that, we don't have that stuff anymore. And I felt almost to a point where I even said to my sister, I said, look, I don't know when I'm going to see you again, but we need to make sure we stay in touch. And now that mom's gone, because mom was the glue between us. I mean, we only talked to each other because we were with mom or at mom's or whatever. And I was like, I even said to my wife, I was like, I don't know when I'm going to see my sister again because she's got her life and I've got my life. She lives up in Georgia. I live in Florida. It's not like we live around the corner because where I'm from, and I'm sure it's the same way where you're from, families lived in the little same town and they all saw each other all the time. And now
Sound like that.
everybody's spread out all over the
Yep.
country.
Yep.
Like Derek, your family's all in Michigan.
No, not necessarily. They're in DC, Minnesota, Colorado,
But
New
like the
Mexico.
immediate family that you used to spend Christmases and stuff, are they still in Michigan or do they all move away?
Immediate, yes, but I mean extended, man. They're all over.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
But we were the first
yeah.
generation for me in my family.
And a lot of them
We were
moved
the first
back too.
generation to move away.
Yeah,
And I feel that's a sad dynamic because then you just lose touch. And then now, like we do, Christmas or Thanksgiving at our house or Christmas Eve, we'll throw a party or whatever and call it, for our family with no families. And all our friends come over, we just hang out. And, it's not the same because it's not true blood, but it's still great because, you're helping people out who may not have anywhere to go on. I think, did you come over at Thanksgiving once, Derek?
last year.
Yeah. So, we do that. And, but I mean, the stuff, it's not like, when we grew up. Now, Eddie, was your whole family out in
Um, out of the
PA? Like your cousins, your grandma, your grandpa?
yeah. I think 70% of the siblings on my dad's side
And did you
lived in
guys get to get
PA.
together for holidays and stuff?
Oh, always,
Right.
all the time.
Christmas Eve at my mother's house was the tradition. We'd go to church. After church, there'd be about 40 people at my mom's house, if not more. And we get a bunch of pizza, and then everybody would bring goodies over and everything. And I remember as a little kid, like trying to fight not falling asleep because I wanted to hang out with everybody, and they were there
Yeah,
until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was always it was a joy. And I miss that, because down here, but like we try and keep that going, but we don't really have any family down here, true family.
yeah.
And that's where it hurts because I feel I'd like to live close to everybody, but I also like to live them far enough away that they just don't show up all the time.
Well, yeah. I agree 100%.
Now, what I was getting at with the marriage earlier is, like I said, from a biblical standpoint, where me and my wife stand firmly on is the triangle. God's at the top, and we work together to get to the top. But my wife will always tell you that I am the alpha, the role model, the man of the house, then her, then the kids, then friends, then job. That's how it falls in place as priority for her. And but there's a little dynamic battle there because she may not agree with how I discipline or how I, because I'm a little, all right, I'm black and white, 100%. There is no gray. I don't
You're
believe
just
in gray.
white.
I am white. I'm black from the waist down. That's terrible. Edit that out, please.
That's my
Anyway.
line. You're supposed to say you're tattooed. Never mind. I'm good.
Yeah. So it just, there is that every once in a while struggle. But don't get me wrong, I'm sure even my parents had that argument because I won't say that I was my mom's favorite, but and my dad, my sister was his princess, and so there was times where I'd get out of hand. My dad might lose his cool, and my mom's like, settle down. He's not doing that. He's not being that bad. So I can understand, but it's even tougher. Now, again, we've been married for 14 years. She knows how my reaction is going to be to certain things, so she's already ready for it. But when we first started dating, I remember there was some discipline, and she's like, "Whoa, they're not doing anything wrong." I'm like, "They're out of control," and I'm, so we butt heads. But the one thing that it always comes back to is, and the kids struggled with it, was that I was number one, and then her, and then them. Like they were like, no, because they were number one for so long. And then they realized, once they started going to church and learning, then they all agreed with it. And, I don't know if they 100% agree with it, but that's how they want to bring
You make
their
it sound
marriage
awful,
together.
like you just walked in and said, "I'm here, you're queer, you have to get used to it." Like,
I mean, it was pretty much close like that.
just like the decapitate just pulled their head up out of their body and said, "Hey, you're done. Now this Big Zach is in the house to take care of mom."
That's how I roll.
I mean, can you imagine
If
how
I'm
those
bringing
kids?
home
Those
the
kids
bread,
probably were like terrified of you.
no,
Like,
I
oh
was
my
not.
just
My
die.
Your sack. My all right, easy there, Oso. My my first wife would always put the kids over everything else. It did not matter. And to this day, but they all like live with her or around her. And my son is moving to Colorado, and I said, "How's your mom taking that?" And he's like, "It's not good, Dad. It's not good at all." And that's her baby. So I mean, I was like, dude, when I was 25, I left Jersey, or maybe I was 24. I don't remember. It was 1994, however old it was. I left Jersey and I moved to Texas, and then I moved to Florida, and my parents stayed in Jersey. And I think we became closer because of the distance. And when we saw each other, it was that much sweeter than if I lived next door to them and I would just walk over. Kind of like, you ever watch Everybody Loves Ray or whatever that show is? Like, his parents live right next door. I don't know if I'd want my in-laws living or my parents living right next door, that they can walk
Funny
in
that
at
you
any
said you
time.
don't know. You should know that you don't.
Well, I've never had that option, so I can't say how awesome it would be or how terrible it would be.
It'd be
I
awesome
know
till
me
your
and my
kids were
mom.
grown. Then it would suck.
I know my mom and I were best friends because we were 1,200 miles apart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, God bless her. She was the mayor of Crazy Town, and my wife will tell you. You know, her favorite story is she came down when we bought this house, and she came down to help us move and get everything done. And she bought a one-way ticket. My wife's like, "What do you mean she bought a one-way ticket?" She stayed here for like 3 weeks. And one day my wife's out in the garage doing the laundry, and my mom comes out and she's like, gets right in her face, and she's like, "Are you out here hiding from me because I annoy you?" And she's like, "Yes, Marie, yes, go home already." But my mom was cool. She understood it because she knew she was like that, you know. But if she lived right next door, that would be all. I think that would be bad. I agree with you, Derek. You're right. I would not want that at all.
It'd be tough.
No, you would not want that.
So
Well,
I think,
although again, I'll say, like, if you had babies and stuff, like, talk about like having Nana available at all times, that's cool. But
right.
I think the cons long term would definitely do outweigh
See, now one of the things
the
I
free
look forward
childcare.
to is when all the kids move out, is me and my wife actually being together alone, because I've never been married without children. So I married my
You
first
should
wife.
do a
She had,
spinoff of the Married with Children
Ted,
right.
Ted
sitcom if
Bundy.
you'd married without
Yeah,
children.
I'll be Zach Bundy.
Uh,
But no, I mean, because like from day one, my first wife had two little ones that I helped raise. I mean, I was with them since they were 3 and 5, and then we had our kids. So we never got to do things as a couple. You know, there's times I see you and your wife posted pictures of being all over the world and everything, and I get a little jealous. I ain't gonna lie, Derek. I mean, you got the life going on.
I did. Now it's your turn, though. we kind of swapped over the last year.
Well,
Now you got it, and I don't, and I gotta
our goal is going
pull
to
it
be
back
life
and be
from
like, "That's be happy, be
that's going to
happy."
be life from the RV. And I will tell you this much: I read a book, and you might be able to. I forget who wrote it. Dang it! But they say one of the best things to test a marriage is go like on an RV trip, because it's just you and her in close quarters for like a week or two on the road, and that's how you're going to find out if you're really going to make it or not. So,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that
think
was a
it's
deep.
easy to like look at what other people have and be like that I'm jealous because that's all good and no bad, and that's not true. Like there's good and bad with everything, right? Like
Sure.
if I looked at you and they're all pictures of like newborn kids, I'd be like, oh man, I wish I had that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I know you're shaking your head, but like
No, I'm just saying they're awesome, but
you'd be like, wow, they're living a lifestyle, and then another person would be like, wow, that they're so fulfilled, right? Because it's like at the end of the day, you can see the world and everything, but then when you die, no one's at your bedside. Or at the end of the day, you can raise a family and
I'll
everyone
be
be at
at
your
your
bedside, but
bedside,
then
buddy.
you put off seeing the world, so maybe you die before that. So I think you have to just be appreciative and like whatever you have, and like make sure that like you maximize what you can do with it.
Right,
Yes,
because
sir.
the grass is not always greener on the other side.
It's as green as where you water it. That's it.
So, as a marriage counselor, do you have a set schedule you and your wife follow to do stuff together? And like you have guidelines that you would try and teach others, and you're like, look, this is what me and my wife do, and it's kept us healthy. You guys were married for 30 years?
39.
39.
Yes, sir.
That's right, you're old. I forgot.
I'm old. Yes.
He's only a couple of years older
That's
than me.
awesome.
Yeah, 39 years.
When's
God,
40? Is it soon?
Next September. So we
did you guys
just
get
had our
married in high
39.
school?
Actually, I was in middle school.
Nice. But do you guys go out on date nights and vacation together and do stuff together?
Yes and yes. but the date nights or the date days for us looks different, only because I work from home, she's home, so in most occasions we're very spontaneous. You know, the Monday through Fridays. Hey, let's go down to Crooked Can. Hey, let's go down to downtown Winter Garden and have some lunch, and it's just her and I. Or hey, let's go for the weekend. Let's go to South Florida, or let's go to New York, or let's go here. But we're always together. Now, always together doesn't mean that she's sitting right next to me, that she's in my face. We're in the same space, but she's doing her thing, and I'm doing mine. And one of the things that people either don't get or don't know is that there has to be a level of understanding where you know your spouse and you know what triggers they have, what triggers they don't. You know when they need space. You know when they, need you.